Hello everyone, my name is Reed, and welcome to Storytime. Today we're going to be reading some I Don't Work Here ladies stories, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Your name's not Karen? Not my problem. So for background, I grew up in the hospitality industry with my parents who, to those behind the scenes, shared the power of a general manager, although my dad was the one who holds that position, has for 10 plus years now. I'm talking a total power couple. Even though, yes, they had and still have their arguments like any other couple, with my dad handling the money, numbers, etc., essentially the business side, and my mother handling the social aspect, or the employees and or guests. My mother is known widely throughout the hotel for no reason. No bullcrap, or if you don't have a reason for not working, then I'm not taking your bullcrap. You'd be surprised how often housekeeps just refuse to show up to work. But my father, on the other hand, is seen as the much more reasonable one. To a point at least, I can count on one hand the number of times I've seen him livid enough to the point of yelling where the hotel is concerned. Seeing as some of my earliest memories of hotel rooms, front desk, and general drama that happens behind the scenes, you'd think I'd be immune or at least more tolerant to bullcrap. But that's a story for another day. As I said, I grew up in the business and helped out a lot, taking shifts occasionally and running errands for whichever of my parents were on shift. But I never actually got paid the same as the other employees. By that, I mean my parents paid me from their own pay, which is fine. I hardly did the same amount of work they did in the same amount of time, which meant I wasn't on the payroll. Therefore, I wasn't technically an employee. Remember that. One of the few pieces that will come into play out in my favor. Okay, I also have to mention that my parents have managed more than one hotel in my lifetime, and for the past several years, the common thing is for them to live in the hotel they manage, given it's in a completely different state than their house. My house now, thank you. So they have their own room. I can access it when I'm visiting because when I'm there, I pitch in and help out, which commonly requires me to have a master key. Yes, one that opens all the doors. They really don't look that much different from guest keys except for the markings or when the housekeepers wear them on lanyards. And the regular guest keys don't work after noon, which is the time you must be checked out or you'll be charged for another day. One more piece to remember. There are 5 floors in total, but technically the second floor is where guests can use a side door to access the parking lot and their rooms without going all the way to the lobby. It requires an active key card to work from outside, another piece. I don't tell anyone else this, and typically only a few staff members are aware of who I am anyways, the manager's daughter, so it's not really obvious. On my last visit, I was given a master key the day after I got there and was told they'd call me if they needed my help. I'm typically an introvert and stay in my room playing video games and reading, sometimes wandering out to spend time with my parents. Wearing jeans and a graphic tank top and flannel, nothing like what the clerks or employees should wear, I left my room with a book in hand, my phone and master key in my pockets, but you could really only see the outline of my phone, another piece to come into play. This is where background ends and the story begins. I was going to head down to the lobby with my book and sit on the couches to read, to hang out with my mother on her shift. She's a bookworm too, so we tend to read in silence together. When, as soon as my door closed, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up and I could feel a disturbance in the force. Lo and behold, from behind me, I hear the sound of a wild Karen. "Excuse me!" My first thought was, oh boy. My second thought was, how fast can I annoy her? Yeah, I'm an introvert, but that doesn't mean I am uncomfortable with drama or people. I just prefer to hibernate in the comfort of my own living space. Big difference. In fact, on occasion, when confronted with, confrontation, I find I enjoy myself when I annoy the ever-loving crap out of anyone. I mean, I didn't ask for you to bother me, so that's your problem. This lady is what I classify as your stereotypical Karen. Seems put together on the outside, but on the inside, it's just a crap storm of entitlement and lack of empathy. I won't describe what she looks like, because then people from the hotel would know exactly who she is. Anyways, I turned to face her where I had been just about to step away from my room door, replying with, "You're excused," which I know for a fact tends to make people mad, but to be fair, it's what one is supposed to say at one's dinner table in response. Yeah, we're not at a dinner table, but still. "You need to help me right now." My third thought is, now, where have I heard that one before? Oh right, this is Karen. No, I don't. I'm just trying to go to the lobby. Oh, no you're not. You're going to help me. Okay, this is where I realized that I had two major options. A, get ticked and lower myself to her level, or B, ride this out to the perfect I don't work here lady moment. While option A was tempting, I decided that I could hold off on reading for now. Fine, what do you need help with? Well, you need to start doing your freaking job and bring my bags out to my car. Whoa, hold up. The hotel employees do not do that. We weren't that big of a building or business to warrant bellboys, and we had luggage carts and elevators for that particular reason. As far as I know, guests tended to understand that, until now. Fine, you know what? I'll go along with it. Which was 4 doors down from mine, and she shoves this large suitcase, I'm talking everything but the kitchen sink large, into my hands and carries this tiny bag instead. The suitcase does have a handle, but when I reach for it, Karen snaps at me. No, I said to carry it out. No, you didn't. Karen gaped at me for a moment before replying with, Yes, I did, and do your freaking job and do not talk back to me. I'm a guest. So Karen is striding ahead of me by a few paces while I'm somewhat struggling to carry this large suitcase, and by the time I get to the elevator, Karen is already standing beside it where I set the bag down for a moment to catch my breath, because doing that was pretty much my exercise for the week. Hurry up or you're fired. I really could have broken the pretense right there, but I decided that at the side door is where I'll drop the bomb. Karen hops into the elevator, and by the time I'm able to pick up her suitcase, she'd already started heading down. So, on the stairs, I simply push her suitcase down each flight, hoping that I'm smashing a few breakables in the process. Yes, I was petty. Don't care. Karen is already out by the side door by the time I reach the bottom with her suitcase. She didn't even notice that it had hit the bottom somewhat loudly. Before I pick it up, I check my time on the phone. 1:36 p.m. Karen was surely about to be charged for another day, or had been already. She hadn't been out of her room long enough to have met the 12 noon deadline. Obviously, therefore her card would not work. Ah, karma, you show up just when I need you. So I walk over to the door with her suitcase in hand and open it, nearly throwing it out the door, and Karen screeches when I do. You can't do that! I'm gonna have your job for that, you useless piece of crap, freaking idiot! So, not really mad, I stare at Karen amidst her rage beginning to rise when I don't start begging for forgiveness and simply say, You can't really take what I don't have to begin with. What? What do you mean? I take a small step back from the door, but I keep my body kinda lean forward with my eyes locked on hers so she doesn't notice the moment. I would have called her lady in this part if she hadn't cursed at me and called me an idiot and useless. I don't work here, Karen. Thanks for staying, I say in a falsely cheery voice before I slam the door shut with all my might. The electronic lock clicks into place, thus leaving her outside. Did I forget to mention that she still had a few things in her room? Well, yeah, she was charged for another day. She even told my mother about the rude bellboy. I'm a girl and present as one? WTF? Locking her out. My mother tried to explain to her that since she wasn't checked out or out of the room after 12, then she would be charged for another day, and that the key card was only programmed for the nights that she had paid for. Oh, and that we don't have bellboys. Karen eventually got her stuff but still had to pay, and didn't get her security deposit back since she'd apparently damaged the door frame to her room. All in all, bellboy 1 and wild Karen 0. Thanks for reading. OP, you shouldn't feel petty. These people deserve this kind of treatment. Keep up the good work. I didn't realize this type of person was real until today. So my job is kind of specific, so I'm going to be intentionally vague. My work location is at an entertainment company, but I do not work for the entertainment company. Instead, I am a third party specifically there to audit/make sure Entertainment Corp is performing above board, not breaking any laws, etc. I am officially neutral and separate from the business. Most people ignore me because all of Entertainment Corp wears a uniform, where I just am regulated to business wear. I do, however, have a small badge I wear. It is different from the rest of the staff, but it is a badge. Anyway, I'm walking through the building from my station for the day to the assignment area so I can clock out, and a woman is blocking the door and holding a soda in her hand. Her face is red and angry. Oh boy. Grab that server for me, she tells me, pointing at a server across the room. I hesitate for a second because I'm really supposed to interact with the staff as little as possible, and I'm not even supposed to walk through certain areas, like the one the server is standing in. But whatever, so I kind of walk toward the server, but not into the zone, and wave to get his attention, and I point him toward the woman. He's approaching her, following behind me. I figure he's got the situation, and I go to walk behind her through the doorway she's blocking. I step around her, and as I do, she starts telling me that something is wrong with her soda. I hold up my arms defensively and calmly state, I don't work for Entertainment Corp. Big mistake. She's ticked and has absolutely abandoned the server instead to follow me through the area, yelling about, "You do work here," and how I have an attitude problem. I, once again, am put into a weird spot. Since I am supposed to engage customers minimally, this woman is irate, and I'm not going to fight her in the middle of the area. I cross into a separate section of the company, leaving her behind. I immediately walk to my manager and start telling him what has happened. As I'm talking, she starts yelling from the fenced-off area, pointing at me. "What's her name? I want to speak to a manager. Bah, bah, bah." I looked at my manager and just said, "That's her." He then met her and one of Entertainment Corp's staff to try and explain the situation. Apparently, she tried to make up something and say manager also did something wrong. I heard her yell about how customer service is her industry and she knows how to treat people. Okay. I admit I could have coddled her more. I'm sorry about your drink, ma'am, but this gentleman right here will fix it up for you, K-Pumpkin. But I was not expecting her to tirade through the entire building, following me and yelling. Honestly, I think she was just upset already and looking for someone to take it out on. Dude, calling someone pumpkin might be the most powerful power move of all time. I'm gonna have to start using that when people are super angry. OP, remember that. Use that next time. That would have been cool. Alright everyone, that's all the stories we have for today. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe. Thanks so much for listening and have a nice day.